Okay, hello class. Welcome to Writing 101. Today we're going to talk about an essay that I like a lot that some of you may have read, popular in English classes, by George Orwell, and it's called Politics and the English Language. And we're going to use this to learn about intensive reading techniques. And you're going to learn to read this essay intensively, meaning you're going to read it in a focused, ponderous, reflective way, and you're going to analyze it. I'm also going to talk about extensive reading techniques. And extensive is somewhat like it sounds. You read extensively. You read a lot. Huge volumes. Intensively, you read a small amount, but read it in a more focused way. So I think both of these techniques are very important. I think they have different uses. For example, if you're going to read about a news event, or you're going to read a newspaper, I think it's important to read extensively. You read a lot. I mean, the world is constantly changing. It's important to gain a lot of information. So, in other words, extensive reading techniques are good for basically digesting information. But intensive reading techniques, on the other hand, are better suited for more difficult, ponderous texts. Like if you're going to read this essay, or say a text in philosophy, say, Plato's Republic, Aristotle's Politics, Kant's Critique of Pure Reading, we're going to use intensive techniques. Reading those texts isn't just about digesting information, right? It's about gaining a nuanced understanding with the text, having a dialogue with the text, and really critically thinking and analyzing about the arguments and the themes of the text. Intensive reading is also good if you're going to read classic literature, say Charles Dickens, Hard Times, Shakespeare, Sophocles, Lord of the Rings. You're really going to want to read these intensively, more slowly, and more analytically to gain a deeper understanding of what the author is saying here. So briefly to summarize, extensive techniques, you read a lot and gain it for information, whereas intensive reading techniques, you gain a better critical understanding of the text. So now I'm going to ask you guys about your interests. So Willie, what are you interested in? Okay, you're interested in science fiction. Okay. I would recommend the works of Arthur C. Clarke. Jane. Oh, you're interested in politics? Well, you could read, say, Politico or Real Clear Politics or Vox.com. And these are a good way to keep up on politics. I mean, if you're going to become a good reader, it's important to read a lot as well. That's why extensive reading techniques are valuable. And if you guys see me after class and tell me what you're interested in, I could probably suggest some websites or some books that you can read on your own to practice your extensive reading techniques. So now I'm going to move on to politics and the English language. And I think politics and the English language is important because it does two things. It gives you tips on how to become a clearer writer. And it also gives you tips on how to become a more critical reader, to analyze language. And, after you guys have read this, I'm going to want you to discuss it. And afterwards, I want you to write a short paragraph analyzing what Orwell is saying in this. So I'm going to read a couple of short passages, and I have the passages up on my screen so you guys can read them too. You can pause the video, read them. So I'm going to start at the second line. A man may take a drink because he feels himself to be a failure, and then fail all the more completely because he drinks. It is rather the same thing that is happening in the English language. It becomes ugly and inaccurate because our thoughts are foolish. The slovenness of our language makes it easier for us to have foolish thoughts. The point is that the process is reversible. Modern English, especially written English, is full of bad habits which spread by imitation and which can be avoided if one is willing to take the necessary trouble. So in other words, what do you guys, one second, what do you guys think Orwell is saying? Okay, yeah, that's good, yeah. Sloppiness in writing can make our thoughts unclear. He's also saying something else. He's saying that as our thoughts become ugly and inaccurate, they become sloppy, slavish, it becomes easier to have more sloppy thoughts. And these sloppy thoughts cause kind of a downward spiral by making English more sloppy and harder to express our thoughts. Yeah, that's good too. Yeah. He's using a metaphor to describe kind of this cycle. That's good. In the second line, a man may take a drink. That's good, Billy. That's good. So later on in the essay, as I'll show you right here, so here's a copy of the essay, he talks about, conventions in language that, or in writing, that make writing unclear. So you see right here, and I also copy and paste them, dying metaphors, operators or verbal false limbs, pretentious diction, meaningless words. So kind of obscure metaphors, operators or false limbs, pretentious diction, just saying things, using words that make you sound intelligent without really using them properly. Meaningless words, saying things that maybe make your writing sound good, but are actually kind of fatuous. He goes on to say, in our time, it is broadly true that political writing is bad writing. Where it is not true, it will be generally found that the writer is some kind of rebel, expressing his private opinions and not a party line. What do you guys think that George Orwell is saying right there? Okay. Maria, what do you think? Yeah, sure. Okay, what Maria said is that political writing is trying to kind of obscure something. And the writing is bad because it's trying to obscure. And if you're going to find clear, critical writing, it's probably not somebody that is part of a the political establishment, so to speak. We're just expressing political opinions. Here's another quote. I'm not going to read all these, but you guys are free to pause the video and read them at your leisure. I think that's all for the day, folks. I'm going to cut off now. If you guys have any questions, I will be in my office. Thank you, guys.